Hey, it's Becky. Welcome back to my 5-part series where we're using AI to compete in today's job market. What we did in our past videos, we put together our resume content, then we established a professional photo, and now we're putting that all together in a Word document to actually build our resume. This is a hands-on tutorial, so you're going to see me do all of this in real time. I hope that helps you in building your own resume. All right, you'll see that I have a blank piece of paper, a blank Word document. I have my screen set up to show you my screen as I'm building it. I do have my notes and my sample resume on my other monitors, so you might see me glancing at that from time to time, but I'm going to try to make this as easy as possible. So let's go. Now, the very first thing we're going to do is set our margins. You'll start by going to layout, selecting margins, and we want to go with the narrow option. This is going to give us a little more real estate on the page. So I had an issue with the drop downs showing up in my screen share. So I included all of the touch points and navigation points in the description below. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to insert our header. So we're going to insert, we're going to go shapes, and we're going to add a rectangle. And then we're really just going to add a rectangle to the top. About an inch or so, I think is right. Now I do want to change this color just a smidge. I'm really liking this dark blue color. When you choose a color, you do want to go with more neutral tones. Think of blues or beige or gray or deep greens. Nothing too bright and distracting. I want to remove the border. All right, under line, we're going to go no line. So far, so good. All right, now let's add our name. Add text. Make it big. Bold. All right, and white will stand out on that dark color. Thinking even bigger. Oh yeah. All right, let's make sure to center that. Okay, let's change our font. I'm going to also look at, what's that other one? Calibri? I think I like the other one. Okay, great. There's my professional header. Right below the color block, we're going to add our contact information. Oops. I'm not sure just yet about my spacing. I'm going to have to see how it goes. I really like separating with these lines. I don't know what you call that character. All right, we also want to include our LinkedIn profile. So if you haven't grabbed that, you want to open your LinkedIn page, go to your profile, and there's an option for copy link. If you haven't built your LinkedIn profile yet, no big deal. You can omit it, but if you have it, then definitely include it. Okay, we've got it centered. All right, let's go. So now we're going to start with our professional summary. You'll notice I only put my city and state. You don't need to put your full mailing address anymore. Adding a photo is optional and definitely dependent on your industry. When I have reviewed resumes, I really like to see a photo. It's actually not very common in the United States, but in other locations or in certain creative areas, it's more common. I had the photo stored to my phone. I did send it to my Google Photos, and then I saved it to my desktop. I'm going to go insert. Oops, wrong one. I'm going to hit pictures. I have it saved on my device currently, so I'm going to grab it from my device. All right, now we are definitely going to make it much smaller. And you see this little arch? I'm going to call it a rainbow arch. It's definitely not called a rainbow arch, but I'm not so professional around here. We want this in front of text, and we also want to be able to move it to the top left corner of our page. I do need to make it even smaller. And then what we're going to do is choose picture format, and we're going to put something around it. Now, you could do a circle, you could do a box. I don't like that. A lot of this is going to be your preference. So I'm going to go with a circle for right now. And I might make this just a smidge bigger. But I'm also going to change the color of that border. I really don't like that black. It doesn't look very good. So we're going to change it to the blue that matches our resume header color. Okay, it's not much better. Now, if you want your picture to be a little bit bigger, and I'm really considering it, I might make my header just a smidge bigger. Look how it comes out of the box right here. I don't want that. I might make my header just a little bit bigger so that I can get my photo to be a little bit bigger. Some of this is going to be a personal preference, your aesthetic. It should be something that you look at and you're like, fuck yeah, that looks great. Tinker with it until you like it. Okay, if you want to change or see different ways that photo can be represented, you're going to click on it. You're going to choose the picture format, and we're just going to look at the different options. I think that's distracting, so I don't want that. If we did something like this, I would change the border to be this navy blue. I think white would be, you could do white, but I think it could be a little distracting. If I was going to do white, I would change the border, like the line around the photo, to be much thinner. It's a little too thick like that. Let's see what that looks like. I don't think that's bad, but you notice how the top is flush with the top of the page and the bottom has a little bit of blue underneath it. The biggest challenge is going to be having it as even as possible. I don't hate that at all. Do you like the square better or the circle better? I want to know in the comments. Now what I'm going to do, my photo, you see my photo is just trying real hard to get out of that line. I think I'm good with that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start on our actual content. For our professional summary, we're going to change the color of the text to be cohesive with our banner. We're going to add a line. Yeah, insert, we're going to go shape, and we're going to go line. I could spend all day working with this line to try to get it perfectly straight. If you don't want to deal with that, you could just go all the way across and call it a day, right? And then you could take this and actually center it instead of doing it to the right. So there we go. Now we've got our professional summary. I can tell you all the content that I have to go on my page. This is way too big. So I'm going to probably take it down to a size 10. Okay, we've got our professional summary. Now we're going to move on to our core competencies. We're going to follow the exact same format that we did with our professional summary, right? We want the same text. We want the same color, font, format, all the things. So I'm just going to copy it and I'm going to use this little paintbrush tool, which is going to copy that format. And now we're going to add that line. Now you can either grab it like this and use the Control-C shortcut on your keyboard, copy and then paste, or you can just insert another line. You can really get in the weeds trying to get everything perfect and beautiful. Perfect is a myth. Don't get caught up in perfection. The thing that I like to do with our core competencies is insert a table so that it looks really clean and slick. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, 3, 6, 9. This is how it should look. We're going to add our items. I also added bullet points because I just think that looks pretty, but if you don't like it, don't do it. Here we go. Bullet point. Keep doing that. We're going to do the same thing all the way across. Okay. Now that we've got all of those entered, you can tell this took up a lot of space and we don't want or need that. So we're going to reduce. Let's go down to 10. I also want to get rid of the lines from my table because I think it looks prettier that way. No borders. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move my table pieces around so that there is less. What am I trying to say? I don't know. I can't use my words. So you'll notice this side has 2 rows and I think we can reduce that for some of these. So I'm going to drag my table over. That's better. And this guy too. My table ends here. There's the line. Drag it. Now we're going to move this guy over some more too. There it is. Okay. I like the way that looks. Everything's on a single line. There's no table lines. It looks clean and easier to read. We're moving on to our professional experience. Here's the real substance of your resume. Just like we did before, we are going to follow the same format of our other sections. Okay. Insert another line so we can separate just because it's consistent. I think that is straight. I hope it's straight. If it's not straight, you can tell me in the comments. Okay. I don't know that it's really relevant to put the city and state here. I'm going to scratch that and not do it, but I do think it's relevant to put the time frame there. So I got hired into this role in 2016 and we're going to say present. Now for this section, I really want it to follow the same format as my headers, but maybe not as large of a font. Bold, and then let's take it down to 12. There is more space between those than I want, but let's see how much content we have so far and then we'll go from there. I think I want this to be black. We're going to change that back to black because the bullet points should be the same color as our text. In my opinion, again, this is an aesthetic thing, so do you. We don't want this part bold. And I'm probably going to drop that down to a 10 so it's consistent with the other text, but we can do that after. That is all I want to include for that segment of my work history. I'm going to move on to the next one. And in my prior role, this was an hourly role. It was 2010 that I got in this role. I can tell I'm running out of space, so I'm going to go ahead and reduce my text. I do want each of these sections to be consistent with the prior sections above. So if you see this is a size 10 and we're going to make this a size 10 as well. It didn't make a ton of difference, but hopefully it's enough to just keep a clean look. Now I really only have room for a couple lines. Let's get this down to 10. See how much space I can make up there. I got a little bit back from that. I think we can get 2 or 3 bullet points in this last section, and then we're going to close it with tools and technology. Great. I've got all of my professional work history included, and now we're just going to end it at the bottom. I have some college experience, but I don't have a degree and I don't have any online certifications. If I did have those things, I would prioritize that section in my resume. Instead, I'm just going to finish with tools and technologies. I think that's more applicable in my case. This line doesn't look straight to me. That's going to bother me. Now we got it straight and now we can move it up. This is size 10 and these are going to be a little bit bigger. 11. I might be able to go up to 12. Let's see. Okay. If you needed more on the page, you could do that removal on each of your sections, just giving yourself a little bit more space, but you'll have to adjust everything, right? References I intentionally omitted. All I say is available upon request, and I just don't really think that adds enough value to use up real estate on my page. You know what? I'm thinking that key achievements might actually be slightly more valuable than the tools and technologies. Let's see if we can fit our key achievement. All right, we've got it at black. We've got our bullet points. Now let's go. I just realized I get only 3 bullet points left and then we're all done. I'm going to omit my first one because my last 2 are more valuable. Okay, we have a completed resume. Just to recap, we included our header with our name in nice big bold letters. We added a photo. We included how you contact us, and then we included our professional summary, which is 3 to 4 sentences about your professional capabilities. Core competencies, we added via table, and then we removed all of the lines and made it look really clean. In our professional experience section, we included our prior roles using a uniform text for the role and the company and then the time frame for that role, followed by the bullet points of the highlights from each of those roles. And then at the very bottom, we used our key achievements. If you have enough space, or let's say you don't really have a lot of space, but you have educational background, replace your key achievements with your educational background. All right, so let's minimize this. We'll maximize this. It's too much. That's a lot. That's a lot of Becky in your face. If you found this helpful, hit that like button. It really helps people find this content when they need it, and it really helps my channel. So thank you in advance. In our next video, we're going to go through how to prepare for your interview, because while all of these are helpful steps to the process, the interview is how you actually land the job. If that's live, you can click that here. And if it's not live yet, hit that subscribe button so you'll be notified when it drops. If you are just getting to know what AI can do, I also created a questionnaire that you can use as a sample guide of what kind of questions you can ask AI to help you in various aspects of your life. It's totally free. It's in the description below. As always, thanks for being here. I look forward to wrapping up this journey with you and then taking you on the next one. Until we chat again, take care. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you want to see, and sending you peace and love. Bye. 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 I'm really bougie about my coffee. It has to be like particular temperature for me if I'm going to drink it black. Otherwise, if it's too cold, and if it's too hot, obviously I'll burn my face. All right. So we've had our coffee. Make sure you hydrate. That was very wordy, and because my chair is super squeaky. Bye.